The Room is widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made, and millions of fans adore it for how hilariously bad it's supposed to be, but The Room, written, produced, and directed by Tommy Wiseau, left me feeling pretty ambivalent. I even have some positive things to say about it. Todd Barron's cinematography is nice, with tasteful decor and a lot of pale reds in Johnny's home. I like Mladen Milocevic's score, generic though it may be. The dull, somewhat forced acting is right out of a soap opera, but it's still a step above the horrendous acting in shows like Bold and the Beautiful, and Philip Haldiman strikes me as quite good in his role as Denny. There are also two genuinely effective scenes, both on the rooftop, that I'll point out to you. The confrontation between Mark and Peter does a good job of conveying Mark's emotional turmoil, and the scene with Johnny giving advice about love to Denny has star Wiseau at least trying to act as a supportive father figure for Denny. For what it's worth, I bought it. But it's appropriate that these good, or average qualities, have little to do with Wiseau, the main creative force behind this movie. Wiseau is responsible for The Room's clunky, unrealistic dialogue, terrible script, and poor pacing. Certain plot points, including the infamous breast cancer line, are established and then abandoned, and the plot and character development are both very inconsistent. At times, Lisa cares for fiancé Johnny, but at other times she hates him. Sometimes Mark expresses regret for sleeping with Lisa, but then he's all too happy to bang his best friend's fiancé. And sometimes Johnny loses trust in Lisa and suspects her of having an affair, but afterward he loves Lisa again and completely forgets about this obvious affair. And Wiseau's performance as Johnny, the protagonist, is dull and astonishingly wooden. I suspect that Wiseau might be autistic, as he is very awkward and has little understanding of normal human behavior and relationships. This lack of understanding is evident in Wiseau's contrived, silly writing and the unconvincing performances. But you don't need me to go into detail about why The Room is a bad movie. Let me wrap up my feelings about The Room. This is very inept filmmaking, certainly. The Room is undeniably a terrible movie, but the decent music and cinematography, and Philip Haldiman's strong performance as Denny, mean that The Room isn't bad enough to have so bad it's good appeal, at least for me. Uwe Boll's House of the Dead is a far worse movie than The Room, as House of the Dead has barely any redeeming qualities. In terms of good scenes, The Room has one more reason to exist than House of the Dead. The Room is also more entertaining. Does The Room deserve such a large cult following? Since there are so many worse movies out there, and, as Greg pointed out, so many good or great movies that are largely ignored, I don't think it does. Bottom line, The Room is bad, often laughably bad, but not bad enough to worship or write home about. Tommy Wiseau's The Room earns 2.5 stars out of 5. Thank you for watching the most positive, non-ironic review of The Room ever. Cheers.